Ask George is brought to you by International Cricket Tours. ICT are cricket travel specialists with decades of experience taking supporters all over the world. Get in touch with their expert team today to plan winter trips to the Caribbean, Pakistan, New Zealand, as well as the Women's Ashes. Love cricket, love travel? Choose International Cricket Tours. It's Thursday, day one at Trent Bridge. It's time to Ask George. And first up from Innocent Bystander, are you not entertained?
I don't know. It's such a good question. I mean, we should be, shouldn't we? You know, it's the most gorgeous day. Seen lots of runs. I feel something is a bit lacking, but maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Tell me what you think. Maybe I'm just a very miserable person. But I will say this. I was very excited to come here this morning. I was here before 9 o'clock. I think I tweeted a picture. I mean, it is just the most gorgeous England summer's day. And it's a perfect ground for a day like this, just beautiful. And I was really looking forward to it. And I found it somewhat hollow, but maybe it's me, because I thought the standard of cricket was modest, if I'm honest. But, you know, maybe I'm old and embittered. I thought West Indies were quite poor. I thought England weren't that ruthless and played with a sort of, I mean, they do play that way, a sort of carefree style, which is both entertaining, but also, I don't know. It's really interesting that you asked the question. I didn't think it was competitive cricket. I didn't think it was particularly high quality cricket, but I'm very happy to be stress tested by other people. And you can tell me what you think, but I'm not going to lie to you. That is what I actually thought. What did you think?
Well, I mean, is it just the nature of baseball that you get days like that where, you know, because they play so many shots and because, I mean, obviously West Indies played into it as well by dropping all the catches. I mean, it was hard to argue that it was a high quality day's Test cricket, certainly from West Indies. England capitalised on it, but there were times when they looked, I mean, the root and grip wickets were pretty ugly, weren't they? And obviously Pope's innings was skittish to start with. So, I mean, I don't think anybody was sitting there thinking it was a vintage day's Test cricket, were they?
Okay, I don't know. Some people might think, but there was just a little passage of play which, you know, I'd recommend you look at. The second new ball, okay? So West Indies is quite tired, a lot of pressure. England have been coming at them all day. First ball from Azari Joseph is down the leg side, on the hips, easily turned for 4. First ball at the other end is leg stump half volley, clip for 4. The bowling was poor, the fielding was every bit as poor. Honestly, it made me a bit sad. I thought we saw the decline of West Indies cricket encapsulated, and I don't think that's any reason to celebrate, but maybe it's me.
Okay, next up, Indoor Kite Society asks, has this actually been pretty sloppy from England?
Oh, so look, you know, England did score 400 in a day. You know, I don't want to be critical of England. Obviously, they're not a ruthless side. That's not what they're looking to do. They're looking to always attack, always put the pressure on. It wouldn't have surprised me had they declared. So you've got to put it in that context. But, you know, you're not wrong, but the game's changed and they've changed it. So, you know, I in the old days, batters would have been looking to finish 180 not out, you know. The game's changed. In some ways, it's more entertaining for it, and in so, you know, maybe it's left me behind.
I mean, would Pope have played like that, under the previous regime? Do you think?
Under the previous regime was a step towards this regime. I don't know that England will be able to pat themselves on the back and say they've nailed it if they beat West Indies. I don't know. I think Ollie Pope has it within him to be a really, really, really good player. I don't want to be critical. It seems so sour, but you know, I don't like the methodology and the messaging coming from this England management group. But I seem to be the only person in the world who thinks like that. So I'm absolutely prepared to believe I'm wrong. Everyone else is right. But I don't think the messaging is helpful. I don't think it will help them be the best side in the world. Yeah, I'll probably just end that there.
Okay, Nissan Sapkota next up, and he asks, wasn't that a brain fade decision by West Indies in opting to bowl first today?
I don't know. If they'd taken the catches, you know. I mean, what they dropped 4 catches and a miss stumping. They bowled England out in the day. They bowled awfully. They bowled poorly. I don't know. I think England would have bowled first 2. I think that's what they said.
That,
yeah. So, look, if there was going to be anything in the pitch, I guess the logic would be it would be early. And there were just a couple of footmarks early doors which suggested there was a wee bit of moisture there. But, you know, you look around, it feels like a bat day. A bat first and bat very long day, all day long. But I don't think that was the key thing. You know, I think I've said before, decisions aren't necessarily right or wrong. You made them right or wrong. And they made it wrong by bowling a whole pile of. They bowled modestly. I'm trying to be measured. Been much less measured sitting next to him.
I get the full unfiltered version.
Yeah.
Full fat Dobell.
Harsh, but true increasingly.
Okay. Sushan asks, are team selections being made to justify those long contracts?
No, I don't think so. You know, Johnny Bairstow's got he's on a 2-year, isn't he? David Palan hasn't played since he got a contract. I don't think so. I'm not sure which. I mean, they've just got Jimmy Anderson to retire, so I don't think so.
Still on the staff though, isn't he? While his contract runs.
Sure. I don't know who you mean. I guess you mean Chris Wokes. Chris Wokes is a bloody good cricketer. He did win Player of the Series in the Ashes in England last year. He's got a better bowling average in England than Anderson abroad. So I guess that's who you mean. But no, I don't think I agree.
Okay, Neil Varani asks, can we revisit the catches win matches question from a few weeks ago?
No, because it's still a rhyme. I mean, obviously, if you take catches, you're giving yourself a better chance. But if you bowl toss, you don't get to boss. It's never going to be a poster.
There's been a lot of rhymes
Never
today.
going to be a poster. There's a great website which supposedly gives you inspirational quotes. I don't need it, but if you ever need a little pick me up, you're just meant to log on and it says something inspiring. And I do check it every so often because it goes wrong. And maybe I'll tweet some of the things it says. But for example, one of my favourites is, today you can make a work colleague pregnant. Or happiness can be to eat a live snake. These are some of the things when it goes wrong. I think catches with matches is glib, and obviously taking catches helps. And if you feel like West Indies today, you're not going to win very much. I mean, they were awful. I mean, between lunch and tea, they were awful. Let's not muck around. People are going to be saying, oh, patronising to West Indies cricket. If you're saying that West Indies were good today, and if you're saying West Indies aren't in trouble, you're lying, you're deluding yourself, and you're not helping West Indies. Let's be honest with where West Indies are. They haven't won a series away against anyone other than Zimbabwe or Bangladesh this century. They've scored 400, I think, 5 times in 43 tests, and one of those was against a poor Zimbabwe side. You know, we're deluding ourselves if we're not going to be honest. And unless we're honest, there won't be any action to change things. You're seeing the demise of a once great cricketing nation here. There's nothing good about that.
Oh dear, gut-wrenching. Right, next up, Jack asks, do you think any England batter has the capability, perhaps bar route, to play a long 250 ball innings in Australia?
It was a good question, but I mean, yeah, the interesting question was the word the capability.
Yes.
Capability is an interesting word. They've definitely got the ability. I mean, I think, in Australia, you know, Stokes can do it.
You get very good wickets in Australia as well.
You can get very, very good wickets in Australia. And Stokes has played a great test innings in Australia. It's his second test. That 100 at Perth was magnificent. And I think he's, you know, a very high quality player. I think lots of them, you know, Ollie Pope can do it. Whether they have the aptitude right now or the mentality to do it, depends what you mean by the word you use. But I think there's still a place for doing that. But they think that's old-fashioned and nonsense. And maybe they'll be proved right, and maybe I'll be proved wrong.
Do you think that's?
I mean, I'll be delighted if they are. If England go to Australia and win, I will. I mean, probably goes without saying, I'll be very, very pleased. Don't see it happening right now, but it'd be great to be proved wrong.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's partly English conditions that makes them think like that? They have to go out there and play this expansive way.
I think there's a combination of things. I think partly it's the way they want to play, and we're in a period of cricket where the players are absolutely dominant, so the players get told whatever they want to hear. I do think that's a factor, because there's lots of pressures to go or temptations to go and play elsewhere. I also think there's a group of players here who are very good when they're aggressive, probably are at their best to be aggressive. But I think I said before, Lewis Hamilton even slows down for corners. You sometimes got to be able. I mean, is it getting the Vestiture route, this method? I don't think so.
And in a similar vein, Occidental Tourist asks, the here for a good time, not a long time attitude when batting is not going to be India or Australia.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't done, has it? I mean, they didn't beat Australia last summer. They was 2-2. You know, they might well have done if it didn't play, but they didn't beat India. But they had one great game where, you know, Ollie Pope played a miracle innings really, and it was it was the first test of the series. It was you know, brilliant, and they're capable of doing that occasionally. But you know, they're not favourites, and it would be really interesting to see India in England in the summer of 2025. It would be really interesting to see that series.
And on that note, Mr. Swanson and Mr. Warner, we should probably take our leave.
You probably
Got
should.
the wrong century there, didn't we? So yeah,
Could easily happen. See you tomorrow.
good night.